The sun rose the next morning with an unusual brightness, and for the first time in ages, I felt a flicker of hope stir in my chest. I had spent the entire night deliberating on Sarah's message, the possibilities of what she might reveal: a job lead, a new adventure, or perhaps something that could finally pry me from this unbearable rut. My heart raced with both excitement and trepidation as I scrolled through our previous conversations, searching for a clue. But there was nothing. Just small talk and mundane details of our lives, each message a reminder of my stagnant existence. I decided to meet her after work. She had a way of bringing clarity to my chaos, and I needed that grounding force. The hours crawled, each tick of the clock echoing my impatience. As I sat at my desk, I noticed a colleague, Robert, struggling with a project. I had always admired his dedication, even as I felt sidelined in his shadow. Nervously, I approached him, half expecting to be brushed off, yet surprised by the warmth that radiated from his gratitude. "Thank you," he said, his eyes brightening. "I really needed someone to help me think through this." In that brief moment, I felt a connection, a small but significant glimpse of the change I yearned for. It was like a single, vibrant leaf sprouting from the lifeless branches of my soul. Maybe I had something to offer after all. After work, I made my way to our usual cafe, my mind bubbling with nervous energy. The familiar sense of coffee and baked goods wrapped around me, but they could not calm the storm brewing inside. As I waited, I couldn't shake the feeling that this meeting would change everything. When Sarah finally walked in, her face was flushed with excitement, and she rushed over, barely letting me utter a greeting before spilling her news. "You won't believe this. I got scouted for a short film." Her words spilled out like a waterfall, each phrase more exhilarating than the last. But as she continued, I felt the warmth slowly slip away. She was off to follow a dream, while I remained tethered to my uncertainties. Still, I managed to applaud her, a practiced smile plastered on my face. "That's amazing, Sarah. You've worked so hard for this." But inside, I was screaming. The balloon that floated overhead was a reminder of my stagnation, while she soared higher. As we talked through her plans, I listened intently, yet felt as if I were watching someone else live my dream. After she left, the cafe buzzed with life around me, but I was adrift. I walked home, discomfort gnawing at my insides, the evening growing colder as my thoughts spiraled. I thought about my grandmother, and how she would encourage my wildest aspirations. But I had become a stranger to my dreams, a vessel of unfulfilled potential. Only deep down did I know that I was to blame. That night, as I lay in bed, staring at the ceiling, I had a small epiphany. It wasn't Sarah's success that haunted me. It was my own apathy. I had so many dreams, buried beneath the weight of fear and the expectation of others. I wasn't just battling invisibility. I was suffocated by it. But just as I began to muster a sense of determination, my phone buzzed, startling me. I hesitated before picking it up, dread crawling back into my chest. The message was from a number I didn't recognize, its contents stark and uncompromising. "I know the truth about the red balloon. Meet me tomorrow at the old park at noon. Trust me, you need to see this." The message struck me like a thunderclap, sending adrenaline coursing through my veins. Who knew about the balloon? Who was behind this mysterious message? My heart raced. Part of me wanted to dive into this unknown adventure, driven by curiosity and desperation, but a heavier part wrestled with fear of the unexpected. As I closed my eyes, my mind swirled with mingled anticipation and dread. Tomorrow promised both a confrontation with my past and a risk that could shatter the delicate cocoon of my current existence. What awaited me at the park? A reckoning? A revelation? Would I dare go? All I knew was that a flicker of light appeared at the end of a long, dark tunnel, and I couldn't help but grasp for it. As the first rays of dawn crept into my room, I found myself staring at the ceiling again, tangled in sheets of uncertainty. The message from the unknown sender buried deep inside my mind like an uninvited guest. I replayed it in my thoughts, feeling the weight of the cryptic invitation seep into my bones. The red balloon felt like a ghost, an inescapable specter from my past that had taken on a life of its own. After a restless morning, nerves speed walking through me like anxious ants, I laced up my sneakers, hoping that movement would dispel some of the tension gripping my heart. I wandered aimlessly through the streets, each step a battle against a nagging desire to turn back, to hide from whatever awaited me at that park. But beneath the fear, a flicker of hope ignited. It was a chance to change, to confront, to reclaim a part of myself I had buried long ago. Arriving at the park, the world outside seemed distant, muted by the overwhelming thrumming of my heart. The park appeared unchanged, a serene oasis where laughter mingled with rustling leaves. Yet, I felt different, as though the ground beneath me bore witness to my internal turmoil. I spotted the red balloon drifting lazily against the blue sky, a vivid reminder of my past, and my breath caught in my throat. "Are you ready?" A soft voice cut through my thoughts, and I turned to see an older woman in a worn jacket, her face a mystery etched with time. The sincerity in her eyes held a strange familiarity, and something about her drew me closer. "I'm sorry, do I know you?" I stammered, my voice shaking. The woman smiled gently, motioning for me to follow as we walked toward the tree line, where shadows danced playfully on the ground. "Not yet, but I've been waiting for you." Her words were like a puzzle piece clicking into place, and I felt an unsettling mix of fear and curiosity spark to life. As we strolled beneath the canopy, she spoke. "The red balloon is symbolic, you know. It represents your unfulfilled dreams, the hope you've allowed to drift away." I stared at her, startled. "How do you know about the balloon? Who are you?" "I'm someone who understands the struggle of silenced aspirations," she replied, her voice soothing like a balm to my frayed nerves. "I once let my dreams wither away, and it nearly consumed me. But I found a way back, and I think you can too." Words cascaded from her lips, stories of lost potential and rediscovery, each story awakening echoes of my own struggles. Somehow, she knew the depths of my despair without my having to speak of it. Her passion ignited within me a smoldering ember of resolve, but it quickly wrestled with doubt. "But what if I fail again?" "Failure is just a stepping stone," she reassured, her eyes glimmering with conviction. "You need to understand that embracing your fears is the first step in reclaiming your life." As we talked, I could feel the walls I had built around my heart slowly beginning to erode. The clarity of her words stirred something monumental inside me, a yearning to break free. She handed me the ribbon attached to the red balloon, her energy radiating hope, urging me to take a step forward. Just as I felt my courage rising, a commotion erupted nearby. A group of children burst into the clearing, laughter ringing in the air like music, each child clutching a balloon. Their joy was infectious, and I found myself smiling despite the heaviness lingering in the air. But in a sudden rush, one child tripped, sending colorful balloons soaring into the sky, including a vibrant red one. I watched, spellbound, as it floated higher until it became a distant dot against the endless expanse of blue. "Goodbye, dreams," shouted one of the children, and the laughter quickly twisted into gasps as the balloons drifted beyond their reach. The joyous scene turned somber as they realized they couldn't retrieve the floating orbs. I felt a pang in my heart. The moment mirrored my own fears of aspirations lost and dreams just out of grasp. "If you want to grab hold of your dreams," the woman said, bringing my attention back to her, "you must be willing to let go of the past. You can't retrieve what's already floated away, but you can create new dreams." In that moment, I grasped the ribbon tightly, feeling the texture of her words settle deep into my spirit. Hope surged, filling the cracks left by despair. The choice to reclaim my narrative was laid bare before me. But as I stood there, moments of hope colliding with the unresolved anguish of my own struggles, my phone vibrated again, tearing at the fragile web of courage I had begun to weave. I hesitated, heart racing with the familiar weight of dread, and pulled it out. The message this time from Sarah was a chaotic jumble of hints and exclamation marks. "You won't believe what happened. Call me ASAP." With the past and present swirling around me, I faced a choice. The woman began to fade into the background, her presence lingering like a guiding star, but I was swept into a whirlwind of emotions, my heart divided. Should I prioritize my rediscovery, or break this news to Sarah that could shift the balance between our two lives? Then, as I stood at the crossroads of my awakening, the next message popped up. A name I hadn't heard in years, and one that could unravel everything. "Mom wants to see you." The question hung in the air. Would I dare to reclaim my dreams while confronting my past? And just like that, the flicker of hope dimmed into uncertainty, leaving me teetering on the brink of two diverging paths. The weight of the message hung heavy in the air, a palpable reminder of the shadows lurking behind every thread of newfound courage. My pulse quickened as I replayed those words in my mind. Mom wants to see you. The last time we spoke, it wasn't a conversation I wanted to remember, an exchange that left scars deeper than the ones on my heart. Are you okay? The woman's voice broke through my spiraling thoughts, pulling me back from the precipice of dread. Her warm gaze rested on me, a reminder that kindness still existed, even in moments carved from confusion and fear. Yeah, I just need a minute, I murmured, my voice barely a whisper. Take your time, she replied, her presence a steady anchor against the storm brewing inside me. She stepped back to allow me space, her silence a comforting cocoon. I looked toward the park's sprawling expanse. The laughter of children still echoed, a stark contrast to the whirlwind haunting my heart. I felt torn in two, each part of me clashing with the other. One side yearned to embrace the possibility of self-discovery and healing, while the other was chained to a past I thought I'd escaped. The balloon had been a symbol of liberation, and yet it now served as an unwelcome reminder of the ties that still bound me. Why now? I whispered to myself, the words a desperate plea to the universe. The image of my mother's face, one I had carefully tucked away, surfaced in my blend of disappointment and love that had always confused me. Perhaps my fragile ascent toward reclaiming my life was too early. Perhaps I wasn't ready to confront her, to face the reality of everything left unsaid. But the woman shifted, her presence drawing my gaze back. You know, sometimes we fear the confrontation because we're unsure of what it might bring. But waiting only prolongs the healing process. Her words struck a chord deep within, rippling through the conflict that clung to me. What if she hasn't changed? What if the past just repeats itself? The uncertainty crept in, weaving through the strands of hope I had finally started to stitch together. Life is unpredictable, she said gently, her voice like a soothing melody. But confronting it is the only way forward. You've been living in the shadow of what was. What if the reunion gives you a chance to redefine that memory? I hesitated, staring into the distance as the sun painted the sky with hues of gold. The conflict inside waged on, but then I remembered how far I had come that morning, how, for the first time in what felt like forever, I felt something stir within me, something hopeful. Before I could respond, my phone buzzed relentlessly in my hand. I glanced down and saw a cascade of messages from Sarah, each one more frantic than the last. You really need to call me. This could change everything. Who's Sarah? The woman asked, curiosity sparking in her eyes. Just a friend. A close one, I replied, feeling an unexpected sense of urgency bubbling up within me. Point one that cares about you, she noted knowingly. Perhaps she's a piece of the puzzle you need to confront the past. The tension in my chest surged again, the struggle for balance becoming more pronounced. You're right, I admitted. But what if the news she brings distracts me too far from my own journey? The older woman smiled softly. No journey is linear. Perhaps Sarah's news is a bridge, helping connect your past with your present. It might just lead you toward the resolution you seek. With a deep breath, I took a step back from the edge of my indecision. Maybe the answers I sought lay in both directions, the call to Sarah and the confrontation with my mother. I felt an unexpected surge of determination, a light flickering in the darkest corners of uncertainty. That I need to go, I said, turning to face the woman once more. But I can't just abandon this conversation. Thank you for everything. Her smile widened, wrapping me in warmth. You will find your way. I have faith in you. I felt a rush of gratitude as I turned and walked toward the park exit. The confusion was still there, but it transformed into a dialogue I couldn't ignore any longer.